How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. We are going to be 2 days away from opening day. The Cubs are going to be playing way later at night, so if you want to watch the Cubs in Arizona, your start time is going to be 9:10 Central, so just be ready to stay up late, have some good food, and you might have an early, quick morning after that one, but we do got some news in notes as the Cubs begin to round out their roster. We'll break down August schedule. We'll talk about Nico's return and much more. But before we get into all that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has watched the channel. This channel has been growing over the past 3 weeks, and I do appreciate everyone who's tuned and locked in. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Are you ready for some baseball? It's a yes or no question. Are you ready for some baseball? Let's get into it. Will the Cubs get off the schneid on domestic opening day and get their first win of the regular season? So, Nicky Lopez has been officially released by the Chicago Cubs. Now, this was per Nicky Lopez's request, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't a Cubs decision by any means. When you invite players to, spring training, you just invite a bevy of them, right? A lot for the infield, a lot for the outfield, a lot of pitching, etc., etc. I kind of think Nicky Lopez saw the writing on the wall and it was in his contract, so that is why he granted a request for his release. He's an infielder, a very solid defending infielder. He's had a very good spring too in terms of hitting the ball, which is kind of above his normal means. Usually he's an okay hitter. He's not the best hitter, but he's not the worst hitter either. But he's had a really good spring, and honestly, he kind of just sees this Cubs infield as like, I don't have a path to play here. Obviously, Dansby and Nico are our shortstop and second baseman. We're really giving Matt Shaw the run at third. And then they have Michael Busch at first base with plenty of viable backups like Gage Workman, Vidal Brujan, John Birdie, Justin Turner, etc., etc. So I think Nicky Lopez kind of saw the writing on the wall. He said, hey, my time here has been great. I love playing with this organization, but it's just not a good fit for me at this moment. So he requested a release, and the Cubs have granted to it so that Nicky can go and try and make another Major League ball club before the regular season begins. So I can't blame the man for that. But again, the Cubs have officially released Nicky Lopez. I don't think this affects the 40-man roster in any capacity because he was signed on a minor league deal to camp. So, Cubs roster is still close to 40. I'm not sure how much is going to change. They've optioned a few players to AAA, etc., etc. But before the regular season starts, I will give you guys a full breakdown of the Cubs' official 40-man roster, and then we can kind of maybe project who's on the 26-man roster going forward. So, next order of business is let's discuss the Cubs' month of August. Tomorrow, you guys will be seeing September, and then that will be the whole regular season preview in terms of who the Cubs are seeing this year. And then, hopefully we can break down October at some point in the next few months. That will be very exciting. But for the month of August and the Cubs, they do have a pretty mediocre to moderately light schedule. Obviously, it starts off very intensely with the Baltimore Orioles, obviously one of the best teams in the American League. Adley Rutschman is an absolute superstar. Gunnar Henderson, etc., etc. They got Kobe Mayo coming up. Hurston Kirchstad, a lot of great young talent, right? The Reds are being projected to be one of the better teams in the National League Central this year as well. Obviously, they're looking to take up big steps from Ellie De La Cruz. We know the Reds' offense is absolutely potent. We know Hunter Green is an ace of the staff. But do they get more pitching? Do they get more well-developed pitching? That is the real question. Playing the Cardinals is never easy, no matter how good or bad they are against us. It's the Cardinals. They're our bitter rivals. So going into St. Louis will never be an easy task. But in the dog days of August, these are victories we definitely absolutely need to get. Going to Toronto's going to have a solid ball club, ladies and gentlemen. They might not be the best team in the American League or American League East, but they're going to be a very, very solid ball club. Obviously, dealing with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is no joke. They acquired Anthony Santander in free agency this year. So the Blue Jays are going to try and make their playoff push. We'll see how good they are come this time of the year in August. But the Cubs do need to go into Toronto and take 2 of 3. Those matchups are tough in the American League because you just don't see those teams all too often, right? Unlike the next 7 teams that the Cubs are going to be seeing here, like the Pirates and the Brewers. The Cubs need to take 3 from the Pirates. I don't care if they're facing Skeens, Jones, and Keller. They need to take these 3 for the Pirates because we're gonna need all of these victories. All of the victories against the lesser teams the Cubs can rack up will help them in the long run acquire the NL Central crown. And then a tremendous 4-game set at home against Milwaukee, ladies and gentlemen. Against Milwaukee. I'm not going to say this is going to decide the division. I will say this. I think it's going to paint a mighty, mighty picture on how the division is going to be shaped out, right? If these teams enter this race right here tied, taking 3 of 4, one team can go up 3, or you sweep them. You're then up 4 games in the Central. Or if you're down, let's say the Cubs are down 5 games in the Central and they get swept by the Brewers, that puts them 9 back with very, very little time to go. And then they're going on the road. Now, they're going on the road to the Angels, who might be having more of a down year in terms of what they want to do. So, who knows how the Cubs are going to fare out in Los Angeles. They need to take care of business there. The Giants are going to be a solid ball club, ladies and gentlemen, no doubt about it. Hopefully, they could at least snag 1 or 2 there. And then they go to Colorado to face the Rockies, another venue where the Cubs need to take advantage of the team because the Rockies are projected to be last in the NL West, and they're not even close to the other 4 teams. So hopefully the Cubs can take advantage of the Rockies in that situation, but we will see how that fares out come the month of August. So stay tuned for tomorrow's breakdown of September. We will get to more of that, but Nico has officially returned to playing baseball. His forearm surgery has not completely healed, but they're ramping him up. He went 0 for 3 in his first day, which is totally understandable when you haven't seen a baseball in literally like 7 months in a live game action. And even then, it's not even the most live of game actions, right? But Nico did get a hit yesterday, a nice single to right center field, which is right up Nico's alley. You love to see the confidence developing for Nico. I have complete faith that Nico Hoerner is going to be a fine baseball player. Hopefully get back up to his 280, 290 average in playing Gold Glove defense. I think it'll be an absolute sensational catalyst for this Cubs offense. I'm not sure where they're going to bat him in the order. I do have a prediction for that, which is coming up next here. But it's going to take Nico some time, ladies and gentlemen, because if he plays on Thursday, he's going up against Zach Gallen, who, again, we'll talk about that one more tomorrow. But either way, congratulations to everybody and Nico Hoerner getting back on the field. That is the big, big thing here. So excited to see Nico's return. Excited to see him integrated into the lineup with the Cubs. Now, let's talk about my projected starting lineup for the Cubs. This is the batting order. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the case. I think Craig Counsell likes to play the matchups. He likes to mix and match things. I personally like a more set batting order, but then again, there's the data behind, each specific spot. The number 1 spot gets the most ABs during the year. The second spot gets the second most, et cetera, et cetera. They also see different pitches in each game and each matchup. So I understand mixing and matching. You want to make sure your best hitters are getting the best possible matchups at all times. So this is what I think the Cubs batting order should be. I don't know if it's going to be this, but this is kind of roughly what it was in Tokyo. They had Ian Happ leading off, Seiya Suzuki batting second, Kyle Tucker batting third. That switch hitting righty-lefty matchup that they had Michael Busch, Dansby Swanson. I put Nico Hoerner 6th because I think he's just a pure hitter, ladies and gentlemen, and plugging him in anywhere in the lineup is a good idea. Then I put Matt Shaw. I bumped Matt Shaw down 7th. I kept Miguel Maya at 8th, and then I put Pete Crow Armstrong 9th because I think he'd be an excellent secondary leadoff hitter, right? Like, once you get through the order and get down to 9, Pete Crow Armstrong's basically leading off the offense again. So that's kind of my mentality about it. Also in this graphic, as you can see, I have their career against Gallen. Not a lot of success, but also on that front, not a lot of data to, prove it's very negative or so. You need about 20-25 at-bats to kind of see if someone owns you or not. So not a lot of experience against Zach Gallen. That makes total sense because he is in the NL West. We are lucky if we see him once and if maybe or twice in a season. But Zach Gallen is the Diamondbacks ace, and we will give you guys a full preview breakdown of that one tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate everyone who tuned into the video today. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you for the next one.